I'm Paul Lavich from Synergy Electrical Sales. Today, I'm going to show you some steps that I take when doing a lighting control takeoff. So let's say you've been given a set of electrical drawings and you have to do your takeoff so you can put your quote together. So a few things. One, I don't take a random approach. I have a system of steps that I take, and I'm going to share it with you to help you. So what I don't do is I don't go to the lighting control details, the lighting control drawings first. So let me show the steps that I take, and I think as I go through them, you'll see why they are helpful. All right, so the first thing I look at is I review the panel schedules. So I go to distribution panels and electrical drawings, and I want to find the lighting circuits. So this is helpful because, again, I'm going to see the voltage, I'm going to see how many panels they are. So I'm going to see something like LP1-circuits 5, 7, 9. I'm going to write those down. I'm also going to look for the emergency lighting control panel. Write that circuit down. If there's none, I'm also going to make a note of it. But I want to understand in my project how the power is being run. That's the first one. All right, the second one is I'm going to review the symbols list. So what I find is helpful, if I'm looking at drawings in Adobe, I take a little snapshot of the symbols list. I put it on 8.5 by 11 and I print it out so I have it next to me. I find that's helpful. Symbols list, you're going to get a feel for the equipment. There might be things about low voltage, line voltage, or even wireless devices. The symbols list is going to help you get a feel for that initially, and again, you'll have it right next to you as you're doing your takeoff. Next, I'm going to look at the sequence of operation. So find for tenant fit-out projects, it's usually on the drawings, electrical drawings. Larger projects, public bids, schools, you're going to have to go to the project manual. But we want to look at that, get a sense of what's being involved, how involved the system is. Things we'll look for there. Time clock, they might talk about scene control, vacancy setting. Perhaps they might just make a general note to comply to the local energy code. We want to look at that, what the sequence of operations. And if there is none, again, as a professional, I believe we should know what the code is in our area. I'm in Pennsylvania, so I know that it's IECC 2015. Again, that's the engineer's responsibility. But again, if there's no sequence of operation, we should be able to know what's expected and have that dialogue with the engineer ahead of the construction. Next step, we're going to review the sheet notes. So this will be things we're going to look for. Notes about usually night lights, emergency lighting controls. There might be a note that says connect to a relay panel in another part of the building, connect to existing devices. So we want to look at those sheet notes, get a feel for what they're asking us to do there. Now, we're finally, step 5, going to get to the fixture schedule. We're going to look at the dimming type for all our fixtures on that schedule. A lot of times it's 0 to 10 volt commercial projects. That's the easiest one to work with, we find. But you got to keep an eye out for other load types like Dolly. Lutron ecosystem is out there. More advanced buildings, they're actually able to change the color of lights. So RGB, W, or DMX. We can start to see those, to make a note of those. The other thing to keep an eye out for is just how the voltage is listed on that fixture schedule. Some decorative fixtures are 120 volt only. Start to keep an eye out for that. That's going to help you. All right. Step 6, we're going to go to the lighting control diagrams. So this is where hopefully we have some typical details with a basis of design, manufacturer, and again, we're going to look and see what how the equipment is laid out, so to speak. If it's a power pack, which is just one zone in, one zone out, or perhaps a mini relay panel that could have up to 4 zones. But we want to take a look at that, get a sense of what devices are planned to be wired, wireless, occupancy sensors, the types for those as well. All right, so you're going to take a look at those. Step 7, now we're finally going to get to the counting, right? So we've got a good feel for what's going on in the project. Now we can actually go and count our devices. So this is where, again, we're going to have that symbols list. We're going to take a look at them. Again, from experience, sometimes there's a little bit of contradictions. You might have a symbol that says a low voltage switch, and it's actually, it's a line voltage device, or vice versa. It's wireless. But because you've looked at all these different parts of the project, you have a full understanding of the project before you actually do that count. Again, what I found to be helpful. And then step 8 is review the common lighting control mistakes, right? from experience. I've been doing this 10 years, so I've made these mistakes, and just kind of go back through and see what things often get missed or misquoted. So emergency lighting controls, again, that's why we started with those power drawings first, because that's going to let you know how your power's run. I forgot to mention this with fixtures, but that's where there's certain fixture types that will say include with battery backup. So again, that would be on the fixture schedule. But things to look at, that emergency lighting control can often get overlooked. 120 volt decorative fixtures. This is again where that panel schedule helps you. Power could be run out to that light at 277. The fixture only works at 120. You have an issue. Again, you're just doing the takeoff, but you want to make the design team, the electrical contractor aware of this, and also for your own quote, set money aside to handle that, because it's going to have to get handled at some point. Daylight zones, we see this less and less now, but just it has to be separate control device for the daylight zone close to the window. So you want to make sure that you're allowing for that. And then the last one I see is just stretching equipment too far. And what I mean is that, let's say you have a relay panel that can do 4 zones. Let's say one of those zones you've allocated to a location 200 feet away from that panel. Well, what I'm getting at is at some point, either you or someone from your company is going to be meeting with that electrician out in the field, going over the wiring, and you want to make sure that it's a smooth installation. So asking them to run wire all that extra distance, it's just going to create a problem later. So address it in your takeoff, and you'll have a smooth project. I have my email address down in the description section. If you want to send me an email, I have a great lighting controls checklist that I use. Helps you keep track of your project. As always, thanks for watching, and I look forward to hearing from you. Take care.